Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Big 14, what the fuck going on? Hey. Hold up, take a moment, count my guap, count my guap. All these rags bumming in, they bumming in. Hold up, hey, count my guap, count my guap. Can I stop coming in, coming in? Put up in a drop top, she dropped it. I put up in a drop top, she dropped it. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. Yeah, hold up. I don't know what planet I'm on. I'm a king, little bitch, watch the throne. Feel like bottom, I'll top off your arm. Yeah, steady, cause it heavy. Yeah, bitch, I'm ballin' hard just like a maverick. Money stretched long, little bitch like elastic. Now that bitch steady calling me Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. No, I keep a ratchet. If you play, boy, I turn your ass to ashes. Automatic, doom, 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 little bitch, I'm blasting. Yeah, put you in a casket. Money sits long, it's elastic. I don't know what planet I'm on. I'm a king, little bitch, watch the throne. I feel like Bardo, I'll top off your arm. Take a moment, count my guap, count my guap. All these rags bumming in, they bumming in. Hey, count my guap, count my guap. Can I stop coming in, coming in? Put up in a drop top, she dropped it. I put up in a drop top, she dropped it. My diamonds dancing high skies, they hold this. My diamonds dancing high skies. Yeah.
Astral worlds, my planet, my home. Clouds too high, the fumes too strong. Mix this cup for way too long. Add it up, don't subtract it. Yeah. Pour this egg with me and let's get blasted. Straight up, Lambo drop like a dragon. Can't fall asleep at night cause they attacking. In the coupe, go insane. This if it go, they be blame. We don't live the same.
But Rodgers is a fucking fossil. This team's in shambles. The Steelers are a wagon at home. It's going to be a gross fucking game. And I'm going right back to fading the Jets.
And once again, the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan, when the lights are bright, do not show up and they fold. Their receivers are banged up. The ones out there couldn't catch shit. Their defense is taking a step back. This 49ers team is a fucking joke. And I'm looking at you, Kyle Shanahan. You're supposed to be that guy.
In the postseason for the first time in his career, and they find a way to fucking blow it. Look, we should have known the Yankees bullpen was going to come back and bite them in the ass at some point. They've been a little bit too good. But my goodness, did we think it was going to be big Christmas?
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Tuesday, episode 595. Peace as always. Hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Squad. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, what are you doing? Start tracking your bets today over there on Bookit, the best bet tracking app out there by far. Jovan, happy Tuesday. We've got some work to do today.
Yeah, we do, for sure.
We got some work to do today. You ready to find some winners?
Yeah.
So am I. Chat, how we doing? Hope you guys are having a good start to your Tuesday. Let's go ahead and get the recaps out of the way. We'll go ahead and get these puppies done. We'll check out the squad ride from last night. Cake. Fuck.
Cake. Hand up. Hand up. Ship play.
I liked it too. Ship play.
God, dude. Should have stuck with gut on the under. It was a very
popular, we're gonna bounce back today.
Popular over. I wanted to fade it. But I went with Utah. It didn't work. Ship plays yesterday. Hand up. Hand up. I got better plays today, though.
All right. We're going to bounce back today. I'm not worried about it. All right. We got a loaded college basketball slate. We're going to craft up a TNT two-piece and obviously go over, any sport, any questions you guys have in the chat. Let us know. We're happy to answer it. All right. We're going to get in the lab today. We're going to find some fucking winners. And I have a feeling, looking at our two sharp reports right now, we're in a pretty good spot. All right. So we're going to bounce back. We're going to find some winners for today. Nick Chubb, absolute unbelievable receiving performance last night. Was not enough for the Browns. But that moneyline parlay that I placed actually did smack. So that was good to see get through the hoop. Loyola and the T-Wolves, that came through. Not really sure who set that Bo Nix rushing yards line, but definitely was not a good line, in my opinion. Jovan, good call on Elijah Moore. He came through along with plenty of receivers in that action-packed game. Jeez.
Couldn't go wrong.
No.
Receivers, at least.
Could not go wrong. Am I seeing some subbies coming in hot?
Subs rumors?
Am I seeing some subbies coming in hot right now from the chat? Let me pull this up. Aries coming in with some subbies. How many is that? 5 subbies coming in from Aries. Let's fucking go, dudes.
Go.
We got Juice Wayne coming in, resubbing as well. We got 10 subbies to start out BTL today. Love to see it. Love to see it. W's, gents. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving, guys. Why don't we hop into some steamed crabs for today? If you guys are ready for it, I feel like you probably know what's coming. Goodsy, run that shit. I'm trying to get pissed. I'll tell you what, man, they don't make him like Jameis Winston anymore. They simply don't. He is one of a kind. One of a kind. Now, Jovan, look, you said this was going to happen. I feel like anybody probably could have said this was going to happen, knowing how Jameis plays, to be completely honest. It wasn't the hottest of picks, right? But you called a couple picks. You called a couple pick sixes. And Jameis, though he had a great game and kept them in the game. Without him, they're probably not even that close anyways. He threw some pretty bad passes in crunch time when the lights were brightest, including this one at the end of the game when I really thought we were going to get a last-second cover. To be honest, I don't know if I've had an NFL bet or just a bet in general lose that I felt like was a winner the entire time, more than that game last night, to be honest with you, with that Browns plus 6.5 play. I cannot believe they didn't cover. I cannot believe Jameis threw a pick at the goal line with what? Minute and a half left? 1st and goal in the 2 after a flag. Puts him in prime spot. How about we run the fucking ball? After we've already seen Jameis Winston throw 2 pick sixes in this game. You ever think about maybe running the ball there? Probably not. Not enough time left. But a terrible decision. Fresh unis, by the way, from the Broncos. But a terrible decision to throw the ball once again on the goal line. Cost us a cover. And Jameis Winston, look, he's good at Jameis. Should have seen it coming. God.
Yeah. Can't even victory lap it because, I didn't do or bet anything to support it. But it was just such a perfect Jameis Winston game. I could feel it coming. And what do you know? 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, and pick sixes, and just the overall Jameis experience. It brought me back to the Tampa days, dude. Felt
sure.
Not
brought
great
back
for
to
your
the
back,
days where we couldn't see before LASIK.
Yeah, before LASIK, dude. That brought me back to the 30-30 season. It's incredible.
He threw 6 tutties yesterday. Yep. Just 2 for the Broncos. Golly. Unbelievable. All right, well, if you had the Broncos last night, congrats. Good win. You had luck on your side, that's for sure. Mahoney in chat as well. I know you talked about hedging that parlay. Congrats on cashing big on the Broncos last night. Still a good move to hedge. Don't doubt it for a second. Happy that you cashed big, though. W. Danny. And L. Browns plus 6.5. God damn it, Jameis. All right, let's move on to some plays for today. Enough about the cake from yesterday. All right, let's dive in. Let's find some winners. And yeah, Danny hit a 12-teamer. Crazy. Unbelievable. And we do have Surge right after this, guys. And if you missed TMA with Trent, with Mikey, with Joshy before this, you can always go back and rewatch on the YouTubes. W. Mikey holding it down in the AM. All right? Why don't we get into some winners for today? Yeah, Trent up and moving. We got a Surge later today, too. Good. All right. Wow. Let's hop into the winners. Good. W transition. Yeah, Jovan, you talked about Louisville yesterday on the show, and yeah, I came around to it. I'm down to bet it. Let's take the Cardinals tonight. All right, the spread's down from 4.5 to 3. I don't care. The fact that they opened up -4 after one of their best players just got hurt towards ACL for the rest of the season tells me everything I need to know in this game. And I'll take Louisville, the Cardinals, at home, laying 3 now. I'll take them on the ML. I'll lay the juice for 1.5 units. Love the Cardinals. And fading Ole Miss coming off that really close game against Purdue. They should have won. They blew it late. I think we fade Ole Miss here again. I just don't know how they're going to cover or stop a park car, to be honest with you. They don't play a lick of defense. Louisville's offense, their 3-point shooting should carry them in this game, even without Pryor. I'll take Louisville, the Cardinals on the ML. even with the reverse line movements, I don't care. I think the fact that line opened up at -4.5 for Louisville, everything I needed to see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm very anti-Ole Miss. The fact that they're that fat of favorites, even despite the line move back, is crazy without Keyshawn Pryor. And talking about some of the recent performances both these teams have had. And I do love fading teams. I don't know if Ole Miss has played on the road yet, but I could only assume they haven't played on the road at the very least against a power conference opponent, I would think.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the first situation for that. Love that even more. The ACC SEC challenge always gets pretty odd. It's probably one of those games.
Love me some ACC SEC challenges. Electric. All right, we're going to talk about these games. We got some subbies coming in, a hype train rolling right now too. Love to see it. Level 5. Wow. Lucky number 5. We got Like Lightning coming in, resubbing as well. Let's find some winners, gents. Excited to have your guys' thoughts on Chiefs Chargers Sunday Night Football. Be boots on ground. Happy to take a quick peep at that right now since you sub, my man. Sunday Night Football, Chiefs 49ers. Chiefs and Chargers. That spreads down to 4. I like the under in that game. First glance, I'd probably lean the Chargers as well, but fading the Chiefs is bad business. Jovan, thoughts? Chiefs laying 4 right now against the Chargers.
Yeah, I can kind of figure that game is going to be within one possession because the Chargers and Chiefs are playing on primetime, but don't know if that one possession is going to be 4.
Okay. All right. It's probably the under for me.
I love fading the Chiefs at this point because their games are very predictable, but that feels a little baitish to me.
Yep. People like betting the Chargers right now, too, in this economy. I don't blame them. Overall, this season, they've been a covering machine.
I don't know who wants to bet the Chiefs right now.
It's a good point. 11-1. The way they've won these games, they might be the worst 11-1 team ever. People are going to say, right? Nobody wants to bet the Chiefs right now. They don't look sharp. Well, they're still the Chiefs. They still win games. They find a way to do it. They like to play with their foot. At the end of the day, they still win games. I'd probably lean the Chargers, but I like the under better in that game. Okay? Let's stick with the CBB plays for today, though. Let's reel it back in here. We got Aris giving out a sub bang to Conman W's. Appreciate the subbies, all you guys. Juice Wayne coming in with another 5U whale. Wow. Dubs. And Aries giving out subbies like it's his fucking job. Let's go, my man. Appreciate you guys. Seriously. Let's hit some bets today. Let's hit some college basketball wagers as well. And my favorite play for tonight, Clemson plus 1.5. Already locked this puppy in. Look, Kentucky has been unbelievable. It only took Coach Pope a couple weeks to get them ranked back in the top 5. Impressive. They're 7-0. Kentucky's look good. They opened up only -2 here in this spot. I know they're on the roads. This is a tough game, and Clemson's looked pretty good so far as well. They're 7-1. It's a team I circled, had my eyes on in the ACC as a sleeper this season. Nobody believed in them after they lose PJ Hall. They go on a great run in the tournament last year, obviously, but that's really the only thing they did last year. They still kind of underperformed during the season. I like their coach. I like betting on Clemson when they're home. And obviously, they're a short dog here. I thought they'd be getting a couple more points. Great sign for the Tigers. I'll fade Kentucky here in this spot. They're getting all the bets. The spreads move from -2 to -1.5 for Kentucky here on the roads. I'll back Clemson to defend their home courts and fade Kentucky to get their first loss of the season here. But if it ends up being a 1-point game, it ends up being a 1-point game. I'll take the spread.
Yeah, for sure. If you didn't have, I guess, maybe all these plays on your card, probably would have been on mine. So I'm right there with you today.
Good.
Got to fade Kentucky. I mean, they beat a fully healthy Duke team, and they're plus or -1.5 against Clemson on the road, which is interesting because like all the teams they've played so far, like if you have a really good backcourt, like you can shoot over the top of a Mark Pope defense, and they haven't really had that outside of Duke, and Duke is a little more front court laden, obviously, with Cooper Flagg. So they'll get tested tonight for sure. Kentucky's pace is definitely not going to be tough for Clemson because they can go just as fast.
All right. We'll talk a little bit more about those 2 games in a moment when we go over the PrizePicks squares. Let's go ahead and flip it over to Javon's place. Curious to see what he's got for today. We'll see what he's cooking up on the ice. Ooh, sure.
Yeah, 2 on the ice. I don't know if we talked about this on stream yesterday, but there is the possibility that Kevin Lankinen's going to be in goal for the Canucks, and he is 10-0 on the road. The first goalie in NHL history to actually start a season that way, which is incredible. So I'm hoping he gets a start, but regardless, I love fading either side of these long road trips, and the Canucks are on the final game of a road trip where They don't actually go back on the road until right before Christmas. So it's nearly a full 2 weeks. This is their last road game. So I would assume Lankinen gets a start because not only that, but you also have they don't play until Friday. So it seems like a pretty good spot to not get Seelovs. But it's interesting because Lankinen has been, lights out. One of the most solid goalies, not just on the road, but really period so far this season, which is definitely a little surprising to a lot of people. But he has faced a lot of teams, and I know this is kind of a product of how the Canucks play, but at the same time, like they've let a lot of teams that like to open it up get a lot of really good chances on them. And while they're pretty different, like they're going to play more compact, and needless to say, like I'm trying to give like the Red Wings as an example. The Red Wings want to just throw a puck on net. The Wild, they're going to make sure every single chance counts. So this is a much different story you're going to get today than a lot of the teams that Lankinen has faced. And if it ends up being Seelovs, then plus he fucking sucks. So I'm in on that. But this is a spot where I think the Canucks last game of this road trip where they've been absolutely dominant. I believe just one loss on this like 4 or 5 game road trip so far. You're going to Minnesota against a big physical team. They're going to match your physicality, which really nobody on this road trip has been able to do because they haven't played any of those teams. They're going to Minnesota to take the L. So I'm in on that.
Sign me up. I'm looking at this Philip Gustafsson goalie saves square on PrizePicks as well, 24.5, very green. That could be a good sign, right? Hopefully Vancouver will not be ripping as much puck as they typically do. Looking at that square. So correlates well. Good sign. Yeah, let's lay some juice. Let's take Minnesota here. Let's fade the Canucks. I like it. You think this is a public play? I think it's going to public or?
I don't know. It's the Wild at home as a bettable favorites. They're usually pretty popular, but I don't know anybody who wants to fade Lankinen. Like if anybody's been on Twitter and actually has the NHL side of Twitter, I can't tell you how many times I counted 10-0 Lankinen pictures and graphics on the feed. So again, he's not quite confirmed yet, but I would assume it's going to be him in net. If it's not, I think this is just a terrible spot regardless for the Canucks after how good this road trip has gone so far for them. And this is kind of their last shot before they come home and play relatively comfortable homestand. So I don't know. If Lankinen gets confirmed, you're probably going to see some Canucks bets.
Okay. Yeah, the Canucks are 10-2 on the road this year on the ML. That is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. Is that right? 10 of their 13 wins this year have been on the road.
Well, Lankinen himself, the goalie, is 10-0. So like that would make sense. Yeah.
The math checks out.
Yeah.
That is insane. Sign me up. Let's back the Wild. Danny's talking about it in chat. He's saying Minnesota owns Vancouver in this matchup historically. He's saying they've won 8 of the last 10, which, I don't typically love. But if it's, if they own them in this matchup historically and Vancouver's been on fire on the road, I could be convinced. Certainly. Okay. What about that over on the ice? Carolina and Seattle.
Yeah, so this is a pretty interesting one because I guess really on the Canes side, this is Kochekov's first game back, which I kind of like to fade that every time he comes back from an injury or a long layoff or whatever. He doesn't look like a great goalie, and he kind of gets helped by the fact that the Canes don't allow a lot of shots to get to his net. I don't think you're going to be able to do that today against the Kraken, partially because of how they play. They play super open, super fast, and they actually have not that the Canes are an easy team to play for anybody, but they've specifically had the Kraken's number. They play them really, really tough. So this is, a time where the Kraken have kind of shifted their play style this season, and they're coming off of some really, really rat shit performances. I don't know how you can hang your hat on back-to-back losses against the San Jose Sharks, but they just did that, which is impressive. Now, you're going to Carolina. They're massive, massive underdogs. They have nothing to lose in this game. I can tell you they're probably going to be throwing puck on net early, especially when you have a goalie just coming back from, I believe it was a concussion he had. He was knocked out cold on the ice, and this is his first time since right before Thanksgiving playing after that. So still think it's kind of a tough shot, especially I would feel a little differently if they were playing a team that doesn't really throw pucks on net and is just a super slow team, compact team like it was the Bruins or the Islanders or somebody like that. But the Kraken, what are you going to do? You're going to throw pucks on net. You're going to run out in transition when you can. So they're going to do their fair share. Also helps that the Hurricanes themselves are coming off of a shutout against the Panthers. One of the more embarrassing performances they've had of the season so far, 6-0. They played back-to-back games, so it's really weird. They lost both of them, got dominated in both of them. Now they need a pretty big performance at home. So I'm taking the over.
Little side nug here. I know we're done with the Wild, but Fruity loves it.
Yeah.
Good.
Has to
And
be
I love
done.
that over as well in Seattle and Carolina that you were just talking about. Only thing I don't love, not even a big deal. Seattle coming in off of 3 straight overs. I mean, they fucking suck though, and their motivation coming off of a couple of bad losses probably cancels that out as well for this over. So I'm in.
Well, you know what this is comparable to, because you remember the Avs Stars over, not same situation, but like the Avs go over. They went over like a handful of times before that game, but it wasn't because of them. It's the same thing with this. Like the Kraken have been pitiful defensively.
Okay. And you got Carolina coming off of a goose egg against Florida on the road.
Yeah.
Sign me on.
Not goose egg last game. They played back-to-back games too, just like the Sharks and the Kraken did. And the other one was 6-3, but they got dominated.
They lost both.
So wasn't much better of a performance.
Both teams looking to bounce back here after a couple tough games. Hit the reset button. Let's put some pucks in that. Yeah. Plain and simple. Okay. Why don't we just keep it here for Notre Dame, and then we'll swing it back around to me. Back in the Irish. Okay. Without Burton, I believe. He's going to be out for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think he's out for an extended period of time. But
brutal.
To be honest, like while he's been out, they've been, I know it was only, 2 games, 2 and change games, I guess, if you want to count the Rutgers game. That was pretty early, so I guess I can give them 3 games. They were pretty impressive, I would say. Like they hung in there against Houston, ended up covering the game, which was nice. They ended up covering against Creighton, and obviously they lost the game in overtime against Rutgers, where they did everything they fucking could. So now they're coming off of that and going on the road to the little SEC ACC Challenge game against Georgia. It's another team that I really like. So now they've had a little bit of time, I guess, to prepare. I guess it's probably going to be a majority Shrewsbury running the point, but in those couple games that they played without him, Oloko also did a fair share of the work, and he's also Steph Curry, which is awesome. Georgia, their guards, I love their guards on the offensive side of the ball, but on the defensive side of the ball, they have not been good whatsoever. It's the one thing I can take away from them. So if you're going to let Shrewsbury do what he wants, if you're going to let Oloko do what he wants, if you're going to let really any of these guards coming off the bench do what they want, it's not great if you're facing Notre Dame, because you know what they want to do. They want to do a lot of ball screen, a lot of threes, everything from the perimeter, and then when they can work inside the Tay Davis, they'll work inside the Tay Davis. So I think this is a game that gets pretty odd. Again, this is one of these challenge games that I think it's weird. So Notre Dame, they've been coming off of some tough performances against some much better teams. Georgia's been kind of coasting against shittier teams. Now I think you see a collision course.
Okay. Sign me up. Looking at this game too. Down the back, Notre Dame by the bad news, I guess, kind of, with no Burton. And we'll hope that Shrewsbury can coach his way into a cover here. I'm in.
Why not?
I'm in. I like it. All right, Gucci, let's swing it back around. I got one more play for the peeps, I believe. Let's see what I'm cooking up over there. Yep, I'm taking the bait. I'm doing it. Yep. Late night NBA. You've got the Kings. Where did that game go? Why can I not find it? There it is. We've got the Kings laying -1.5 at home against Houston. Wanted to check the spread there. It still holds. 9-12. Sacramento, a team that people like going into this season. People pretty high on the squads. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. Has not been a great stretch here for Sacramento. Houston, on the other hand, it's been the exact opposite. Houston's been great. They've won 4 of their last 5. They've covered 4 of their last 5. They're 15-6 against the spread this season. Sacramento 7-13-1. It's been a tale of 2 different years for both of these squads. And then I'm looking at the injury report, taking a scroll, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? I'm not seeing really much. Kevin Huerter is questionable, right? So I feel like that's not really moving the needle either way. Not a lot of injuries for the Rockets. I'm not seeing anybody out for rest or anything like that. A little bit thrown off by the spreads. The Kings getting some respect at home. A Kings team that I typically like back at home over the years, but not this season, man. This season, they're 2-8-1 at home. They're 4-7 on the ML. I think they turn it around, though, tonight. They get a big-time win against the Red Hot Rockets, and they cool them off at home. They light the beam tonight. Back Sacramento, they get it done. Really sketchy line, stinky line, late-night NBA.
Yeah, and somebody's pointing out in chat, they just beat the Thunder, too. The Rockets did, and this line was exactly the same. So we're getting just as much respect as you gave the Thunder to the fucking Sacramento Kings, which is hilarious. But
yeah, that math doesn't check out.
Yeah, it's also a meaningless game, which could work in our favor too, because I'll be joining you on this, because the Kings are already eliminated. They're 0-3 in group play for the Cup, and this is the last game, I believe. And the Rockets have already clinched the top of their division, the 1 seed out of their group. So
Sure.
means absolutely nothing. And it's the perfect game where, like, I guess usually you're expecting everybody to be full go for, I don't know, point differential and everything. So like the starters are going to play a long time because it matters for something. If you're the Rockets, I'm not so sure what it'll look like today because, again, the game doesn't mean absolute shit.
You know, my contrarian ass just heard you say that and got absolutely bricked up.
Yeah.
Love that. This game means nothing for the Kings.
It means
The
nothing
Rockets have already clinched.
Yeah, I'm sure it means something for, like, as far as like seeding goes between the top seeds or whatever for the Rockets, but like they already clinched the top spot of the division. So I don't know how exactly that works out.
Sure. Sign me up, bro. It's the Kings tonight. They light that goddamn beam. And like Trent saying in chat, could be a good game for props. We'll come back to it.
For props.
We'll come back to it. Okay. You know, we're going to lock in a TNT 2-piece. Try to hit our 4th in a row. I think we're 3-0 on those so far this season. Someone check the math on that, check the Carfax. But we're going to run back the TNT 2-piece once again for tonight. I think it's 3-0. And there was definitely a push for one of those squares involved in that, but I don't think it's lost yet. Knock on wood.
I think it's lost.
That should go well.
Maybe the first time.
Maybe the first one. Okay. Either way, there's 2 or 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I think there's one loss in there. Yeah, I think the
first one was cake and then ripped off 3 straight wins. Let's make it 4 in a row, Kyle B.
I believe so. Yeah.
Let's make it 4 in a row. We'll get in the lab. I actually already took a peep at some of those games. I came prepared. All right, but hey, no rush. We got some other squares to get to first. Okay, we talked about our straight bets. Let's get to the PrizePicks squares. Gucci, you can flash mine up. I'll power through these real quick. 2 squares and 2 games that I already talked about. I told you guys we were coming back to them. 2 CBB squares for tonight. All right, stick with me. Chase Hunter on Clemson, their best player by far, the senior. He's been there forever. He's their guy. If you look at Chase Hunter and his career and what he's done recently, when this team needs a big-time win, who shows up when the lights are brightest? It's Chase Hunter more often than not. If you look back at their run in March Madness last year, I mean, he went more than 20 points. First 2 games of the postseason, he cashed this number in 3 of those 4 games in March Madness last year. When the lights are brightest, Chase Hunter shows up and does job. He's got ice in his veins. And I'm backing him again tonight after a couple not great games in a row. Has not really been his true self. He has not been shooting as much, but the accuracy is there, especially from 3. And he's going against a defense today that I think he can find some success against in Kentucky behind the 3-point arc. I think that's how he's going to do this. He's going to hit a couple threes. Chase Hunter is going to score more than 20 points and carry Clemson to an upset at home in this cool Kentucky versus Clemson SEC, ACC type rivalry game. I'm stoked to watch Clemson tonight. They're going to get a big-time win. Chase Hunter is going to carry them to it. When the lights are brightest, he carries his squad. No more PJ Hall. It's all Chase Hunter tonight. And then Rain Smith. We talked about Louisville being a pretty good play today as well, Jovan. Obviously, one of their better players just tore his ACL. He's going to be out. Not saying him and Rain play the same position, but there's going to be some more minutes to go around, more opportunities to go around with no prior. And a guy like Rain Smith against an atrocious 3-point shooting defense at Ole Miss, one of the worst Power 5 3-point defenses so far this season in the country. And then you look at their roster and you see guys like Sean Padula. It's like, okay, obviously they can't cover the 3. These guys don't play a lick of defense. So you got a bunch of Bradley Beals out there who can score a bunch of points, but they can't cover anybody. Who's going to step up for the Cardinals at home in this game when one of their best players goes down? It's going to be Rain Smith, one of the best 3-point shooters in college basketball, going off against an atrocious 3-point defense in Ole Miss. I like points in this game. I like the over. I don't think it's going to be a nasty, close under game. I think Rain Smith absolutely shoots the heck out of the basketball tonight. He hits 4 threes, probably gets a couple free throws as well, and gets 15-plus points.
Yeah, that's your guy, Krabs.
That's my guy.
Yeah,
I try not to take him that much. Okay, you guys know I've been talking about this dude for years since he came over from Tasmania to go to college at Charleston. The kid's highlights were unbelievable. Look like Steph Curry. I try not to take him that much. Okay, I'm a little bit biased, but tonight I cannot resist. He carries Louisville to a win.
Amen.
All right. Dubs, prayer circle for no Chase Hunter tour dates. Yes, good. Get those going right now. Jovan, let's see what you're cooking up over there on PrizePicks. What do you got?
Hero Ball Cade Cunningham, which is this is a big game too, because you want to talk about on one side there's NBA Cup games that don't mean anything in Sacramento today. This game, people don't realize the Bucks and the Pistons are both sitting at the top of their group 3-0, and they play each other tonight with a short spread. So the Bucks have been getting absolutely torched by any high usage guard that you throw at them, and it's kind of deliberate, just like the Heat kind of let the second options go. Like the Bucks just kind of intentionally let the first options go to work on them. So like Cade Cunningham, if there's any game for him to absolutely fucking play hero ball, not that he hasn't done this before in this matchup and just period, I'm going to take it here. This is the perfect one where you know he's going to get a shit ton of volume. The matchups on the outside of the court or other side of the court with pretty much everybody are much, much tougher. He's going to have the ball in his hands, obviously, the entire game, and he's going to be super aggressive because that's going to be how they're going to win this game. Then on the other side, DeMar DeRozan. Trent says, how am I not taking Gary Trent double bagel? Well, the reason I'm not taking that is because he just went over that line. Not only has he been soaring over that line like the last week or so before the double bagel, but one of those times he soared over was against the same team like a week ago. So I'm out. But DeMar DeRozan, I will be in on because it doesn't really qualify for double bagel because it's only a half, but he hasn't hit a three since fucking Vietnam in 1984. And I think there's a little something there because you'll see a lot of people on Malik Monk points today because A, it's green as fuck, plus two, he is in the starting lineup now, so there's been a little shift in what the Kings are doing offensively. So he's gonna have the ball in his hands quite a bit more. I saw a bunch of PRDs on his assists as well. Malik Monk's DeMar is going to draw a little different of a matchup, and he's going to be out on the perimeter, kind of catch and shooting a little more than DeMar DeRozan usually does. So I think there's a reason this squares up. Obviously, in a weird cup game where we like the Kings, I expect weird shit to happen. This is what I'll buy into on the Kings side.
Yeah, I'm trying to check some odds on it. I absolutely love both of these squares. Love them. Cade takeover game. DeMar, we're not asking for much. Okay, just bang a three. That's it.
One.
Not asking for the world. And yeah, I mean, maybe we could look up and see the last time that dude shot a fucking three or made a three. It's been at least
shooting them. He's been shooting a couple weeks. He hasn't hit one since Veterans Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's absurd.
Yeah.
That's absurd. 3-point odds. DeMar DeRozan, I'm seeing minus 135 to hit a three. That's not going to be up for long, folks. Not going to be up for long. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sprint to my app, and I'm going to lock it in now. Because I don't want to fucking get lost in the dust here. Okay? I'm going to lock in the sharp report format. It has to be done. I'm not going to slate without that square involved. Has to be done. So we're going Cade PRA. Chat, feel free to lock this one in with me if you want. 38.5. We're going DeMar 3. And then we go to CBB.
Jason
got my guy Rain Smith, who I'm seeing, by the way. Somebody in chat said they got a friend from home that just broke up with Rain Smith. I might need to hear a little bit more about that as well, because if that's true, we got a breakup game for Rain Smith.
Could be the difference.
Sounds like he's going to be jacking shots and trying to maybe go off and get on SportsCenter here for people to see. That's an angle I can get behind. I'll tell you that much. Rain Smith, more than 13.5 points. And then we're obviously going Chase Hunter, more than points as well. I'm locking in this 4-man before they get taken down. And I will drop the link for you guys as well. Okay? Wow. That's a good-looking 4-piece. Please lock in. Oh, we're in. Let's go. All right, chat. Link is being dropped. Jovan, love these squares, and we're going to craft up a TNT 2-piece as well, involving some of the primetime games in the NBA. Maybe for now we go to college basketball and take a peep at this loaded slate. We'll circle back to the NBA. I'm in for that. I'm in for that. All right, Chad, here comes the link. I'm going to drop it right now, okay? If you want to tail the BTL Sharp Report 4-man, you might not have much time, okay? I'm going to drop the link now. We're going to go over college basketball. Drop your questions for CBB now in the chat if you guys have them. We'll be happy to answer whatever we can. The link is in the chat. There it is. Boom. All right, get involved. There it is. Jovan, why don't we go ahead and dive right in? We could talk about the Cincy-Villanova game. Curious if you have any thoughts. I lean Villanova, but I'm not in the market to fade Cincy right now. I like that team, and I like that team being able to win and dominate without a couple of their best scorers still. It's been impressive, and I think it could be the Bearcats' year. Lean Villanova, though, still.
Yeah, you're probably not going to catch me taking Cincinnati, but Villanova gives me Yale vibes, which is a little scary. It's like I'm
Okay.
seeing that on the feed a little bit, and you're getting
could
a line
so
move
see
towards them, which is cool. It's the big name Villanova program at home too, in a sharp spot when they're always sharp. Don't know that I love it because I don't know. It's an odd matchup because like since he's going to be super physical with Villanova, nobody's really going to shut down Eric Dixon. But if there's anybody you can throw a bunch of bodies at him and is going to do that as best they can, it's probably Cincy, even shorthanded, because a lot of their injuries are with their smaller guards anyway. So that doesn't really affect Eric Dixon. So still would probably lean Nova, but no shot in my taking it.
Agreed. Lean Nova, but Nova's always fake sharp more often than not. And Cincy's not a team I want to fade right now. So we'll move. Put Cincy on wagon watch, chat. Seriously. Put them on wagon watch. If they can pull off a couple more wins without some of their best players, I will be even more impressed. I already am. All right, let's keep moving. We'll check out the rest of the slate here. Yeah, you're not going to catch me on the Wildcats. No thanks. Arkansas, Miami. Now, this is an interesting spot. Obviously, Miami a little short here. They have not been great so far this season. They're 3-4. They've lost 4 games in a row, Jovan. Arkansas is coming off a loss as well, or else I'd be more interested probably in back in Miami, but they just lost that game to Illinois, and it wasn't even really close. 77-90 in that game, and they couldn't stop anybody. I lean Miami. I feel like the tides are turning with this Miami program that's been an absolute cash cow, a covering machine over the last couple seasons. I feel like people are still going to hang on to that. They're going to keep betting the big name Miami, and this team is a shell of itself. I mean, they've lost everybody. They are terrible. I need to sit it out and wait and see how bad this Miami team truly is. I still would lean them on the spreads, but seeing the spread up from 4 to 5 for Arkansas coming off a loss kind of tells me maybe just stay off and wait this one out.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of know just how bad Miami is. Did you see?
They're terrible.
See the last game, Krabs? That might be the most embarrassing loss of the CBB season for anybody.
Yeah, hence why you won't see me locking in a wager on Arkansas. No chance.
Yeah, I really want to.
Has to be Miami. I just can't.
I really want to. I just can't get myself to do it because the Canes are bad, and I'm going to be fading them a lot because they're going to get a lot of line respect just for no reason. But might have to leave. I'll tell you, somebody between Villanova and Miami is losing by 20. One of those teams is going to be fake sharp. Both of them might be fake sharp, but one of them is getting absolutely porked with no remorse. I wouldn't be shocked with Miami because I could see the Cincy game being a little closer through and through.
Okay. I mean, look, I know it's not everything and not a ton of bets yet on this game, but more than half the bets on the spread are on Miami. People are still, they got that lingering feeling of, what's his name? Larinaga, legendary coach, future Hall of Famer, and great Miami programs over the last couple seasons that have overperformed. Not the same team. Let's stay away. They got some leftover line respect. I'm not falling for it. Nope. Not doing it. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving. W. Gucci, he got the ticker up on the bottom as well with our Sharp Report plays chats. If you guys are looking for winners while we're talking about other ones, they're on the bottom scrolling across. Can we get some W. Gucci's as well? He's on vacation time right now out in Arizona, and he's still working right now, producing BTL. Can we get some W's going for Gucci? Grinding today. Love to see it. Okay. Wouldn't expect anything less from Goots to go. Cal, Missouri. I mean, we can't ignore that line. I want to hear you say it.
Say what?
Missouri's the play.
Cal's missing their best player, right?
Good. That makes more sense, to be honest.
Blackshear.
Still think that spread is so fat.
Is it?
Maybe Missouri's getting some SEC respect. Maybe they're getting a little too much home court advantage here, but this is a team that didn't win a game last year in conference, and they're laying 9 to a solid Cal team with a good record. It's not like Mount St. Mary's is coming in. It's Cal, and they're laying 9.
Yeah.
Now the injury stuff definitely makes me like Missouri less. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but it's still got to be Missouri.
Right.
What would you lean in this game?
I'm
assuming Cal.
No. Well, yeah, because it feels like I might have been a game early on them putting up a fight on the road against a middle of the pack at best SEC team, even though Vandy is definitely clearly a lot better. And that was weirder too, because hour before the game, you found out that coach I don't know if he was, what was he, having a kid or something? He just didn't make the trip. Nobody knew that before the game. He's going to be there for this game. So I don't know. It'll be odd. I'll tell you what was very odd to me about this game. Obviously, like, stuff's going to be different. It's been a couple games now that they've been shorthanded, but I do not see. You remember our guy from Air Force, Freitas Petratus?
Sure.
Haven't seen him bump on PrizePicks all that often. And he's up today after doing, I mean, it was Mercyhurst, so like how much did he need to do something? But he just dropped 2 points. Now they put him back up for like maybe the second time all season for 11 and a half. And he has a lot of squares up, which is very odd.
Maybe it's his breakout game. Then
that kind of works out too, because it might be. I mean, he's definitely had to have the ball in his hands more with no Blackshear, but definitely works with Missouri too, because they have Mark Mitchell, sure, but they've still been getting drilled in the paint. So Petratus got to do something. And yes, also this Kansas on Sunday for Missouri.
Wow. I don't love that. All right. Sketchy. I still lean Mizzou. I'm assuming by how you're talking, you probably lean Cal and buying the bad news there. Yeah,
I really just don't want to miss out on the game that I think they're going to win on the road in non-con, break the streak.
All right. So that's a good point. That's also a good point as well. Something that I really don't want to fade. Cal has not won a road game against a good team in years.
Non-conference
game. Sure.
Well, they won.
That's sketchy.
They broke the streak.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're good this year, 6-1. I know they got a man down, right? Blackshear is probably their heart and soul. That's going to be tough. And that definitely has something to do with that spread being fat, but I still think it's a little too fat.
What if they get 2 in a row, though? Or if they get 2 in a row for the streak?
That'd be crazy. We'll see. Maybe they're starting a new streak. Let's get off this Moose shit game. Let's go talk about some others. We'll see if we got any subbies or anybody in chat talking right now. We got William Wagers coming in. Going to need the McNeese report. You're 100% going to get it. Don't worry. That's I'd love to say Santa Clara is my wagon, but they have not treated us too well recently. It's kind of my wagon versus your wagon. Santa Clara versus McNeese. We'll talk about that in a moment. Blaine Train TV coming in, resubbing with Prime. Love to see that. Austin Rendez coming in, resubbing. Jared McKean has a double bagel 3-point square up, but they took it down. Shit. We missed it.
GG.
Brutal. Appreciate the subbies, guys. Bummy came in here, just got here. We ride Mizzou. I lean Mizzou. I don't know if Jovan does, and he made some good points. So probably stay off that game. Okay? We're going to craft up the TNT 2-piece soon. Don't worry. All right? Let's stay locked in. Let's go through the rest of the CBB slate. Jovan, you're on Notre Dame. Sure?
Yep. Good splooting.
Yep. Good. Whoa. You're getting some bets.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Yeah. All right. There was a game before that I wanted to touch on briefly. I think it was Gootz's dog of the day potentially here, Northwestern versus Iowa. He said he likes Northwestern. I don't hate it one bit. Against Iowa. Typically keeps it close over the last couple seasons. I like that game. What about, let's see. All right, Goots said he'll be right back. So we'll leave this up right now. We can just talk about some of these other games. Santa Clara, McNeese. Let's talk about it because that spread is kind of fat, Jovan, making me think McNeese might steamroll Santa Clara, but it's not like the Broncos have been playing well recently.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about streaks too, it's been a while since McNeese has lost a home game. I don't know the streak, and obviously this is the first year they're really going out of their way and playing like really good fucking teams at home. So it's a tad different, but they do have that streak, which I assume you don't really want to bet into.
No. Yeah, I don't love that. Both teams are coming in off of losses as favorites. Kind of a tough spot here to back both teams, but just looking at the spreads, seeing McNeese, catching a little bit of steam against a solid Santa Clara program, I'd say I definitely lean your McNeese boys in this spot.
Yeah, I would too. I have a hard time betting them without Allen Breed because they get it into the end. Like we saw it against Liberty, end of a close game. Like he's the guy, and there's not really a competition for that. They just look kind of lost without him. To me, maybe the fact they're back from that little tournament, they've gotten it together, and somebody else is stepping up in that place. But it's hard to really know that. And he's supposed to be out until conference play starts in a month or so.
Yeah, that makes it even weirder that they're catching steam, I guess, or that they're that much of a favorite. But he's been out.
It does. Line says McNeese.
Yeah. And also the total. I like the over. I like points. You got Santa Clara coming in off of 5 straight unders, I believe. Let's see if they've even hit an over this season. They did early on, but 5 straight unders after that. This total's up like 3 or 4 points, Jovan. And McNeese is coming in off an under as well. Thought that was kind of weird. And their totals have been very, very low. McNeese they're coming in off an under where the total was at 133.5 against that Liberty squads. And now we're seeing this total open up at 141.5 and moving up about 3 or 4 points. I kind of like points in this game. And maybe after both squads lost as favorites, we see a shootout. Both teams bounce back and perform a little bit better offensively.
You know what could probably make you like the over even a little more?
I'm listening.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 5. 5 straight unders for Santa Clara.
Mm-hmm. After 3 straight overs to start the season. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, it's probably the over. I like points in this game. We got Alpha Ball, who I've been gassing up saying he's an NBA talent, coming off of like 4 points in that last game, an absolute terrible performance. Can't expect that again. They got my guy Alpha Ball up on PrizePicks. Let's take a peek.
I don't know if I'd be taking Alpha Ball today, Chris.
They don't even have him up there anyways. So it doesn't matter. Okay.
That's probably the one guy I wouldn't mess with because you're going to get Prime Pat Bev, Christian Shoemate probably on him for most of the game, if not all the game.
Okay. I mean, you don't got to tell me twice. Alpha Ball, when the lights are bright, has not done shit. So I'm down to stay off 100%. Do you like this over there, chat? What do you guys think about that angle? Points? I kind of like it. Cat less than boards needs to be looked at for the TNT 2-piece. Hilarious packs picks. Because I said the same exact thing to Jovan before we started.
And you know,
we'll talk about it
too, right?
All right, we'll talk about it too. Let's wrap up college basketball though here for a couple more minutes. We got some other good games as well. We'll power through some of these. Stick to the good ones. I got nothing in South Carolina, BC. We can move unless you do.
No.
Okay. Keep on moving, Gucci. I got nothing in these games. St. Joe's and Princeton. Interesting game. Princeton, the covering machines over the last couple of years. Solid program, right? And same with St. Joe's, obviously. St. Joe's off to a pretty good start this season as well, 5-2. We know that team is pretty talented. Princeton, I wouldn't say they're as stacked or talented, but that's a really well-coached team as well. And it looks like they're starting to get right after a poor start to the season, at least poor for Princeton. St. Joe's comes in, winning 4 of their last 5, covering 4 of their last 5. I kind of like Princeton with the points in this spot, the covering machine over the last couple seasons. But after looking at the spread bets here, I'm probably good. But I certainly do lean Princeton with the points here, 5.5 on the road against St. Joe's.
Yeah, same headspace. Princeton, I mean, they've played a couple decent teams, I guess, but like St. Joe's has played, I don't know, Texas Tech, Texas, like Villanova, a lot of these big teams, and they think they've covered all of them but that Texas game, which they honestly probably should have won outright the way they played in that game, but ended up blowing the game in the cover at the end. Beat Texas Tech, beat Villanova. So they've got a pretty solid resume. So I don't think it is as legit as it would seem. And those are also, majority of them, very slow teams, which Princeton obviously is not. So different style match there, or mismatch there. So I kind of like points in Princeton.
Okay. Points at Princeton, totals up 3 points as well. Good for the over. Okay.
Could be.
All right, let's take a peep at that JMU game really quick because people in chat are talking about it. JMU against East Tennessee State. Look, I'm kind of out on the Dukes after they lost coach and some of their best players, but if there's one thing I've learned about betting JMU just as a whole in any sport, you don't fade them. You just don't. I like JMU up from 2.5 to 3.5 against Eastern Tennessee State. I would back the Dukes here at home. They need to win bad. Eastern Tennessee coming in off of 4 straight wins as well against not great opponents. JMU has lost 3 of their last 5. It's probably the Dukes, but I will not be getting to the counter. There'll be some leftover respect for that program still too.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like they have Grand Canyon syndrome where they're going to be sharp every single game so far this season, and they're never going to come through. Maybe they come through today, but I sure as fuck will not be paying to find out.
Yep. Agreed. Let's keep moving and grooving here. There's got to be a couple better late night games we can get to. Check out. Let's see.
Some bangers.
Is that it? That might be it.
Wake A&M.
That might be it. Yeah, the A&M game. Let's see if they have that up. They don't right now. Okay. Interesting. Ooh, maybe they do. Nope, that's okay. We can talk about it, though. Texas A&M. I want to fade them today. I want to back Wake down from 10.5 to 8.5. I'm assuming you're in the same headspace.
Yeah. I'm also shocked this total is this high and moving up ever so slightly. I don't know how the hell you can make that look. I know Texas A&M scored against some shittier defenses, but Wake has not. They've been playing rock fights. Seeing that total moves up makes me think their offense finally gets moving today.
It's definitely a good thing for Wake Forest, I feel like, as well, with the total moving up. You know how the Aggies play. They want it to be, first team to score 60 points, if they even do, wins. Wake Forest, let's bring some of that offense, some of that pace on the road here. I like their chances. The spread moving down accordingly, I think, backs that as well. And that Aggies team has not impressed me much so far this season. I know they're still ranked. I know they're 6-2. Kind of look like frauds to me. I'll be honest. I like Wake here in the spot. I do. I think they could even win this game outright potentially.
Yeah, another one of those weird ACC, SEC games, Krabs.
Yeah, I guess I'm just taking every ACC team. All right. What about Michigan and Wisconsin? I'll throw a couple more at you here, and then we'll move on to the NBA. All right. What about Michigan, Wisconsin?
I like Michigan. I'm very scared that everybody does, because I'm starting to see that more and more and more. But I mean, yeah, they just got ranked. They're finally getting their respect they deserved. I feel like they are a tough matchup for Wisconsin too, because Wisconsin's offense has been fantastic. Tanji's been fantastic. The one thing that they've been spacing the floor a little better this year, which like Crowell obviously could space the floor, but now they have like a 4 with size too that theoretically could hang with Danny Wolf because he's going to be who's on him. It's just I feel like this Michigan team is legit. So I don't want to fade them. I do still lean their way. It's just might be getting a little too popular for me.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Michigan get skimped in the AP poll, and they were one of the teams that got left out?
Did they? Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, they did. And I think we were bitching about that yesterday, saying they should have deserved it, or at least I was talking to somebody about that. At least they certainly deserve it. And I think that's kind of an angle that I'm scared to fade with Michigan coming in with a chip on their shoulder.
I'm afraid to go back to them too, because I mean, I took them last game when they were in, I forget where it was in Florida, but like a Fort Myers tournament, I think, against Xavier, and they beat the fucking piss out of them.
Yeah,
I was looking concerned going right back to them next game after that.
Agreed. Both these teams red hot right now. I mean, Wisconsin's still looking for their first loss. Could it be tonight? Yeah. I'd probably lean Michigan coming in with a chip on their shoulder, pissed off they didn't get ranked, but I won't be betting it. I'll be sitting that one out, just watching it. Okay. All right. That might wrap it. Arizona State laying 20 to San Diego. I kind of like Arizona State in that game, and there's a couple PrizePicks squares for some of their the Sun Devils guys. Their 3-pointers that I liked as well that are looking pretty red. I think that over's a pretty good look, and I think they stomp on San Diego, a team that's fake sharp, a decent amount.
You know what I love
too?
Goots on ground potentials.
Goots on ground potentials.
Wow.
Yes, he might be going to that game.
They're kind of
what do you got?
A new school Big 12 team, so maybe it doesn't fit because coaching doesn't do the same shit. But you know how I always try to pick the one game where each Big 12 team is going to try and run, go fast, and put up the score.
Yep.
Around the score. This is Arizona State's. I assume they have finals week. Last game until they play Florida on the 14th. So it's their last game for a whole week against the defense that I think is dog shit. And Arizona State is coming off of a handful of games where like they got tested a little more defensively with some teams that I guess play them a little closer, like coming off the St. Mary's game. New Mexico doesn't really count, but like other than that, this feels like the game where they say, fuck it, put up 100.
Agreed. I agree. I think they go off, they carry that total over, and they probably cover that spread. Fuck San Diego, man. They never respect coins.
Yeah.
They never do. One more game, and then we're moving on to NBA here, chat. High Point and UNC Greensboro. This might be the weird sharp line game of the day that I wanted to bring up here and talk through with Jovan. You got High Point, who's been a wagon the last couple seasons. And again, when you try to fade High Point over the last couple of years, Jovan, it just simply doesn't work. Although they are 2-6 against the spread this year, they're not covering right now. They are winning. So maybe this is our chance to strike and fade High Point. But we've got a UNC Greensboro squads that, on the other end of the spectrum, typically gets more line respect than they should, and they don't come through. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they opened up a favorite in this spot against a really good mid-major team in High Point that's gaining some serious traction over the last couple seasons. They're 8-1 right now. I know they have a loss against Missouri State when they were minus 7.5 point favorites, but besides that, they've been really good so far this season. They score. They're a trendy mid-major. This is one of those spots where I'm like, the opener matters more than where the line is at right now. UNC Greensboro sitting at 3-4. I know they're home in this game, but they opened up minus 1.5 against red hot High Points. I could not ignore it. I think it's the Spartans here in the spot. I just don't know if I can get to the counter.
Yeah. Greensboro is also sneakily one of those always sharp mid-major teams.
Always fake sharp. Always fake sharp.
And High Point hasn't covered a game in like 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's a little concerning. So I'm off. They win, they win.
Yep.
I'm out.
Okay. That's fair. I don't know if I can ignore it, but after talking through it, I'm not really trying to bet it any more than I did before. I want to see what the splits are at on the green book. Looks like Greensboro looks pretty fucking sharp. Maybe too sharp. They might be too sharp. They're getting 29% of bets, 45% of handle on the ML, 42% of bets, 76% of handle on the spread. So the books might be okay, even if they don't come through in a sharp spot, because they end up having more money on that handle for the spread anyways. Interesting.
Yeah.
God, I'm probably not going to bet that game, but I really want to bet Greensboro. I really do.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff that we're probably not going to bet, but I see Dead Larry Bird talking about the Friars. My gut has been telling me all morning that the Friars, you got BYU coming east after they've been on top of the world. Providence is dog shit, horrendous team. It's telling me they go in and catch it out in Providence. I just
Could
don't know
tonight
if
be
I
the
have
night?
it. I don't know if I have it in me to put coin on that rat shit team. But I
know they don't respect coins on the spread this year or even on the ML at this point this year, but we know what this program does to the coins overall, in general, over the years. Shit, maybe even decades before I even started really paying attention. Wouldn't surprise me if Providence was covering back then. They've been covering for years. They are a cash cow. They are a wagon. They're one of the few teams in any sport that has cost me so many coins. I've actually come around to backing them, and I've learned my lesson. There's only a handful of those teams in all of sports. And Mikey, if he's listening to this right now, he probably just fucking did a backflip. Providence is one of them. I don't fade Providence anymore. They got some weird voodoo magic going on, especially when they're at home. You don't fucking fade them. I'm down to back Providence in this spot. They just got crushed by Indiana. They lost to Davidson as favorites. They lost to Oklahoma, but still covered and hung around in that game. I don't think this Providence team is as bad as people think. But they're coming off some bad games. This could be the spot to back them at home against the Cougs. I'm in.
First road game for the Cougs, which for them is pretty important.
Yeah. Sign me up. I like this play a lot. I'm down to play it. What do you guys think, chat? Jota, you like Oklahoma? Aren't you an Oklahoma fan? I also like Syracuse against Tennessee. And Chiote's saying he likes Tennessee. I lean Syracuse. I lean Cuse there against Tennessee.
I'll never be betting Eddie Lampkin, respectfully.
That's fair.
Out.
That is a fair point.
How many porks on 2K, dude? Maybe you can put up some fucking shots, man. You know what he needs to do? Stop putting up shots, play defense drills. Do something. He is
defense drills.
Something, dude. He's a traffic cone, Krabs.
You think Pork's playing defense?
I know. That's my point, dude.
Pork doesn't get paid to play defense.
Every single time we go into the rec, it's auto triple-double, 20 points, 20 boards minimum from the other center. It's unbelievable.
You teaching him what buttons to push when he's playing defense?
I mean, I would love if that would actually.
We might need to have a training lesson.
Yeah, it's unreal, dude. Really bad.
I know there's not a lot of bets on this BYU Friars game, but for the ones that have bet it, there's some Providence love on that spread.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of points. You still have the Providence name at home, so like I'm not too surprised.
The ML splits are insane on the Green Book. 17% of bets, 72% of the handle on the ML for Providence. You don't see those every day.
That might be on Mikey Overs.
You don't see those every day, and that could be a Mikey Overs beluga whale before he left New Jersey to come back to Dallas. Yep, that could have been it. That could have been it. All right, let's keep moving. I want to get to the NBA. Unless you have anything else in college, I'd say we move and groove and talk about the pros.
Sure.
Let's start with the TNT two-piece. Okay, and if we have time, we can go over some of the other games, answer some questions here. We got Matthew Odell coming in, resubbing. Appreciate that, Matthew. W's. Okay. JJ Starling out for Cuse tonight, and they're catching steam. That's really weird, Huv. That's really weird, my man. I think it's Syracuse. That's going to be a sneaky dog that gets left. Yeah, we're going to forget about that one. But I'm going to bet it. Okay. All right, 2 games on TNT tonight. Orlando against New York, and we've got Golden State versus Denver. Let's start with the first one. Okay, let's start big picture here. We don't want to rush into it. You got Orlando and the Knicks. Okay, spread's down to 4.5. Are there some injuries going on here? Why is that spread moving towards Orlando with Polo potentially out as well again? I thought that was kind of weird.
He's been out for a while, and the Magic have been red hot.
Yeah.
They've won 1 million games in a row. So, I mean, they've been fucking good. So, I don't know. I still do kind of lean them in this game, but I would never push that button with how hot they are. But I don't know. I don't really have a play in the game. I think we can go straight to it because we know we're taking something cat-related in the TNT two-piece. We can cut the shit.
Okay. Yep, not mad about that one bit. Let's just go ahead and pull up the cat squares and take a peep at what he's got up there on the board right now. If you go to the NBA tab, chats, you'll see a couple cat squares right off the rip in the popular tab. You'll see his taco or discounts, 9.5 rebounds. Sure. By the way, he had 19 in that last game. And what if I told you his under for his rebounds on the books is -125 for his 11.5 rebounds after a 19 piece, and he's eclipsed that with ease in all of his last couple games. Kind of reminds me of that 3.5 point square we faded the other day. Yeah. I mean, personally, I think we just fade the rebounds and fade the taco. But if you've got any other opinions on his PRA, anything else, maybe we like the under in the game. You want to pivot and get his points involved. I don't know. The floor is yours. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm down to give you your nasty square in this game. I will be taking his points because
more than?
I feel like, yeah. I do think offensively he's going to have a game because the Magic are kind of small. I think they'll gang rebound, and that'll kind of take the boards away from them, especially coming off of that performance. But on the offensive side of the ball, I think he'll do much or have a game. But I think if we don't put this board square in there, it would be a shame.
We're doing ourselves a disservice if we're not putting that rebounds less than in here. Okay. Well, let's put that shit in here. The most popular square on the board on PrizePicks, Karl-Anthony Towns, less than 11.5 rebounds. Okay, that's the base. Love it. Game number 2 on TNT tonight. Golden State, Denver. All right, you got Denver laying 5, I believe, at home. I'm going to check the injury reports. I know Golden State's lost 4 games in a row. Denver's lost 3 of their last 5. So these, wagon orgs have not been their sharpest of late. That's for sure. Could it be some injury-related stuff going on? Well, I'll let you know here in a second. Steph Curry is a game-time decision. But besides that, I mean, Aaron Gordon's a game-time, I guess, for Denver as well, and so is Peyton Watson. But does that really move the needle? No, but Steph Curry might. And right now I'm seeing he's likely to play. So maybe that spreads, moving and grooving around has to do with those injuries. But seeing Golden State getting 5 points, Jovan, against a Denver team that's not been playing great either, kind of puts my head in a weird spot. I lean Denver at home, but Golden State's lost 4 games in a row.
Yeah, another one. Kind of hard to fade them. Kind of hard to take the other side. But I don't know. I'll tell you square-wise, the first place my eyes went in this game which, I mean, I'm looking at the 3-category period. So, like, obviously it's going to go there first, but there are 2 pretty odd 3 squares up for this game on the Nugget side. You got Michael Pork and you got Jamal Murray. And I guess context a little bit. Michael Pork, Trent did just bitch on feed. I don't know why, because he still has Wemby in the go well. But talking about, he made a meme saying, "Is this the worst goat whale square of all time?" when he's red around his line.
Well, that could be the difference right there off the rip.
Off the rip, that could be the difference.
Okay, so we got MPJ in our back pocket here. You also brought up Jamal Murray, I believe, and his 2.5 3-pointers made. That's red as well. Okay. I'm going to do some odds checks as well. Just curious. It's not, difference maker, but I'm curious to see what the books are laying here. Get that pulled up.
Wemby is 1 point off and you're calling it cake. It's not cake. It's just like it's further off than Michael Porter is, and you're bitching.
Player threes. MPJ minus 120 to the under on the books. Jamal Murray minus 125 to the under on the books. Not surprised. I just want to give you guys that info. Okay. I mean, I like the MPJ one for sure, especially with how bad he's been recently. Let's take a little bit of a step back in this game real quick. The total in this game is up from 235.5 to 237.5. I'm looking at recent games. I'm seeing some unders for Golden State. I'm seeing some totals that are a little bit lower than the one tonight. Then I look at Denver. They're coming in off and over. Their totals have been, the high 220s or low 230s for, the majority of the last couple weeks. And this total is kind of high. At least it looks a little bit high to me. Maybe it's because it's on TNT and people want to show up and show out. Even with Steph Curry, who's likely to play, but still a little banged up, right? I feel like this total is kind of high. And both teams have not been playing great recently. Could we get a shootout on TNT tonight for this late night game? AKA might not want to force some less thans, which might be okay. But that's kind of the angle I'm taking in this one. You agree?
Yeah, I agree. That total does look a little high.
A little bit high. And if I know Golden State's lost 4 games in a row, so maybe that fucks this whole thing up. But if Steph's playing and Denver's lost 3 of their last 5, do we think that's spread up to 5? Probably a decent sign for Denver, at least not a good sign for Golden State, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if Steph doesn't play, I feel like every Steph game out and the other team's at home in a spot they should win and cover easily never works out. I mean, we bet against a couple of those, like with I don't know. I think the Pelicans earlier this season, same fucking story. Both those games, they won back-to-back for whatever reason. So, that could be good for keeping the game competitive.
Okay. All right. Let's look at some Denver squares. I'm just going to pull up the Nuggets and chat. Now is the time to let me know if you guys have any squares that you like in this Warriors and Nuggets game. Now is the time. Let me know.
I'll tell you, I've seen a really odd amount of Christian Brown today. And he happens to be the first squares that come up when you put in Nuggets.
Yeah. That's weird. I don't know if I have it in me to fade my GOAT, but
no.
Certainly it's less than PRA.
The only one you might be fading, even though you probably won't, is Strother. That's like a reddish square. But
he's coming off a 15-piece?
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.
Again, I don't know if I want to force a less than.
I know, that's what I was saying.
I'm expecting some points, but great find there for sure. I definitely would lean that less than for Strother. I mean, it might be that MPJ square. I want to look at Jokic as well. Look at some of Jokic's squares. We also got some Russ squares up. Hilarious seeing him in another uniform again. You guys are going to play for every team in the NBA. By the time he hangs it up. Not in a rush to take Russ. Let's take a peep at some of the Warriors squares. Because as of right now, it might be one of those 3-pointer squares as the favorite. I'm not in love with them, but I like them.
Yeah.
Let's look at some Warriors, okay? Wiggins first got to come up for the Warriors. He hasn't done a ton the last couple games, but not in a rush to back him. Steph Curry likely to play. His squares look a little bit high compared to what he's been doing recently, but am I in a rush to back Steph Curry coming back from an injury? No. and I'm never in a rush to take a more than for him. That's for sure. I like the less than rebounds for Steph Curry. If you want to take a peep at that square and just look and see how green it is, but
I've seen it.
That's probably my favorite Warrior square. Is that Steph Curry less than rebounds, but we've already got a less than rebounds in there. So do we want to get that nasty? Probably not. Maybe we circle back to the Nuggets here.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to have to be a Nugget square.
Okay. All right. I'm checking chat as well. Making sure there's no good Nuggets coming in here. All right. Let's go back to the Nugs. As we're talking about some Nugs, it might have to be MPJ after the Trent tweet. Just keeping it simple. I want to give it one more look. But we don't have to overcomplicate this. He might be doing us a favor here.
He might.
All right. Yeah, Jamal Murray has not been him recently. Could be part of the issue. Certainly MPJ has not been him. His rebound square is fucking weird too.
He's coming off a game of only shooting 1 3. Granted, he made it.
Yeah, he's been scoring points. He's just not shooting threes, right?
Yeah, I don't know how many times Michael Porter Jr. has shot a singular 3 in a game. Probably not too many where he actually played the full game.
Right. Huh.
Only shot 1 3, and we're getting 2.5 threes on the board.
I think we go MPJ.
Might have to be.
I think we go MPJ. Any qualms, Goots, Jovan, chat on back in MPJ after a Trent bitchin' tweet and after he only shot 1 3? That could be the first time he's ever only shot 1 3 in a game.
Literally,
every time I watch that guy, he shoots at least 4 or 5. Usually more like double digits.
He had a pretty solid game too.
It's not like he's been bad. He's just not been shooting as many threes. Let's buy low.
It's perfect time.
Let's utilize that Trent tweet. Amen. MPJ worst square of year behind Mikey's Deontay Johnson receiving square. Okay, and that moves needle. We're gonna go ahead and put that one in there. After
moves
that comment.
That absolutely moves need.
All right, MPJ, shake the rust off, my man. You're shooting some threes tonight. Let's hope you make 3 of them. Okay, chat, little 2-piece, TNT 2-piece, if you will. All right, we have smacked 3 of these in a row. Tail responsibly. Okay, let's smack another one of these though, Jovan. Let's make it 4 in a row. Karl Anthony Towns, less than 11.5 rebounds. He's the taco. It's extremely green. We're fading it. It's nasty. The under's juiced on the books. And then we got Michael Porter Jr., more than 2.5 3-pointers made after Trent called it the worst square of all time. Keeping it simple. All right. I'm in. I got 250 on it, I believe. Okay. Please go through. And it did. Let's go.
Heart.
You guys want the link? I'll put it in the chat. There it is. Boom. If you guys want to tail the TNT 2-piece, get involved. All right, Jovan. People are begging for some puck talk. Are there any other games besides what you've already talked about that you like? Any plays? Where's your head at on the ice?
Well, I guess we can start on the PrizePicks board since we're already there. Rare times that you'll catch me backing goats that are not on the Lightning when I try to pick spots with Kucherov or anybody else, but you can probably get involved with this. I think the Avs pretty badly just need an absolute rage game because they got porked by the Oilers, they got porked by the Stars, won a low-scoring game against VGK right before that, but that was the game after they also got porked by the Lightning. So that is you could even go back to like before that. They put the Panthers, the Lightning, VGK, the Stars, and the Oilers. 5 damn good teams in a row. Now they're on the road still on the East Coast, which is a little scary, but this feels like a game where they just kind of open it up against a shit team. They get the Sabres on the road. Nathan McKinnon points is on the board.
Oh,
after he was, during that entire stretch of games against much better teams, a ghost. Oh, and it might be off board. That's shit.
is it gone?
Might have literally just put it in a lineup. Literally 10 seconds ago. It's off board.
All right.
That's right.
Can you talk about that Spencer Knight 2.5 goals allowed square a little bit? Can we get eyes on that? Talk about that square for a sec.
Yeah. I mean, just coming off a shutout against the Canes. Talked about that game. they absolutely dominated them for 2 games in a row. And now they play the Penguins, which the Penguins, as rat shit as they might be, they kind of just say fuck it and play super fast, super hectic. So like they can score no matter how terrible they are defensively. It's like I wouldn't mind if this is the Spencer night, maybe look human game, because truthfully, even throughout this whole stretch, is like on the chart, he's been really, really solid. He hasn't really allowed many bad goals per se. He's been solid when they needed him. So I wouldn't hate this at all. I just hate backing the Pens because they are a horrendous, horrendous team. Cough, cough, Rav. But I wouldn't hate that square at all. I wouldn't hate that. Kirill the Thrill, Hattie, half unit Sprink. I think I'm good on Kaprizov. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, the only thing keeping me off this Spencer Knight square is the fact that the Penguins scored 6 goals in their last game, but I still kind of want to take it.
Yeah, I will say like the sharp, I think I've told you this, but like the sharp less thans for these goals without squares have been hitting a lot more than the sharp more thans.
Okay.
So that's what kind of scares me out a little bit too.
That's fair. Let me pivot then. Let's take a peep at that Eunice Corpusalo goals allowed square that I don't think was up this morning. Now it is. A little greener. Could be a better opportunity for a less than if you think that maybe Detroit doesn't put up 3 goals in this game.
Yeah. I don't know. He might have been a little too good for my liking. I don't know. It's green, but it's a deceptive chart because like he had the shutout against Utah. Those goals against the Islanders were kind of an irrelevant time. Same with the Blues a little bit, or not same with the Blues. Same with the early Calgary goals before they came back. So like I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe we stay out this one if you're saying it's not as weird as it looks. That's why I ask you this stuff. That's good. That's what I needed to know. Okay. And then, yeah, Daniel Vladar, they have up for goals allowed after giving up 6 against the Penguins. Speak of that game.
He's fucking terrible, dude. He's awful.
Could that be a nasty less than potentially here? What do you think about that?
If there's a nasty one on the board, it's definitely that one.
Okay.
And I hate backing Vladar, not just because he's, I don't know, second tier to Wolf, and Wolf should be starting a lot more than he is because Vladar is ratchet. But yeah, against CBJ, that's probably the nasty one you'd want to take from the board.
Okay. All right, I'll put that in with something.
That's going to be a very, very popular over today too in that game.
Huh.
Can only assume you're going to see and or hear that quite a few times.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Music to my ears. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I'll be taking that with something. Okay. Hey, let's lock in. Let's get a squad ride pull up and moving. Unless you got anything else on the ice.
Something else in that game, because I was thinking, like, didn't they just play? They just played a handful ago. Different goalie, but the better goalie. Blue Jackets put up 5 on Wolf.
Huh. Dude, it's weird.
2.5
weird
for
square.
A shit goalie.
Weird square. Yeah, I got to put that in with something.
Yeah,
all right.
That's the one.
All right. Chat, you guys ready for a little squad ride craft stash? Is that enough prize picks for one day? We got the TNT 2-piece. We got the Sharp Report 4-man. A couple hockey squares as well. Obviously, you got our Sharp Report plays on the bottom going across. Let's get involved. Let's tap into the squad ride. Goodsy, why don't you run that shit? I want to see that train. All right, chat. Not our best start to the squad rides for December. Okay, we are 0-1 with the play on the ice last night. So let's bounce back today. Let's find something that's green. I don't care what sport. I don't care what play it is, as long as it fucking wins. Plain and simple. Okay? What are we loving for today, guys? Drop your favorite play you heard today in the chat right now. Hurry up, go, go, go. Get involved. Change your life. Okay, don't just sit there. And I'll go over some of mine and some of ours that we talked about today. I love Clemson. +1.5. It's my favorite play on the boards. I would be pretty blown if we don't put that in here. I feel like that could be a good start.
Yep. Put it in.
Cool. All right. Clemson +1.5. Checking the Carfax on the spreads. Looks like we're still in business. Clemson +1.5. Are we putting the Wild in here?
That can be a U call because I love the Wild pretty regardless, but like I would drop meat for it if I already knew it was Lankinen. We just don't kind of know that yet, which is a little bit of the issue.
All right. I mean, I absolutely love these plays. I'd say the play I like the least out of our 6 Sharp Report plays, it's probably the over on the ice. And a lot of that is probably just because it's an over on the ice.
Fair.
But this is a good problem to have. I really do like all 6 of these plays. I think we're in a really good spot. I don't want to let the Friars play get swept from Dead Larry Bird and Chad as well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind maybe looking elsewhere on some stuff we fell in love with. I'm definitely going to be playing Providence after talking through that. It's one of my favorite plays of the day so far. I wouldn't mind putting that in here.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Okay. Let's put Providence in here for Mike. See if we can get him to tail. Providence +6.
Kings.
It's one of those teams that I just don't really care where the line's moving with them. It's Providence.
Yeah.
They're their own category. They're their own monster. Okay. What else you guys like in chat, huh? I still think we put the Wild in here. My gut's telling me.
Gut's telling you. Put them in. I still feel like we're getting Lankinen. And again, like I like it no matter if we're fading the streak or just fading the road trip. I don't think it really poses that much of a difference. But yeah, hoping we get to fade the streak.
Okay. Are we putting Louisville in here? Or the Kings?
I think we need the Kings in here, dude.
You think they like that beam tonight too, don't you?
I think they like. I mean, I would say probably. I haven't had my eyes on every single NBA line so far this year, but like that line reminds me of that Warriors Pelicans game, which was like one of the most absurd lines I think I've seen so far this season.
Well, that's all I needed to hear. We're putting the fucking Kings in here. All right, we're going to close this out. Let's leave it at a 4-piece. I like the Irish, but unless you're absolutely obsessed with them and you want to put them in here as well, make it a 5-piece.
It's probably my least favorite play. Honestly, I probably like Providence more now that we talked about it.
Okay, so Notre Dame is going to win outright. Perfect. Good.
Yeah.
All right, chat. 4 plays, 4 winners for the squad ride vote today. We got Clemson +1.5, Providence +6, 2 CBB plays there. We've got the Wild ML on the ice and the Kings in the NBA. Don't be fooled. Not a hockey play there. That's the Sacramento Kings on the ML. We've got the Minnesota Wild on the ML. There's your hockey fix. Providence +6 and Clemson +1.5. If you guys want some CBB action, I'll say what I said in the beginning. Absolutely in love with Clemson. I like all these plays a ton, though. I think we're winning no matter what. All right, lock in your votes. Click the right button. I saw somebody in chat say, yeah, Richie Parlay, no idea. These ain't my sports. Won't vote, but we'll tail. Richie, your vote still matters. Even if you're not a CBB guy, try to think about what sell job you heard today that clicked, your favorite play you heard, and vote for that. Not that deep. Get involved. All right, change your life. Jake saying it has to be the Kings. Godson saying feed me Clemson. Mahoney wants Clemson. What are you guys locking in? What are you voting for? We got a pretty close poll for the first time in a while, Jovan. We've got all 4 teams in contention for the squad ride poll. You don't see that every day.
Those don't grow on trees.
They don't. They must like all the plays. Good. That means we did our job today. It could be the Friars from Michael J. Certainly would have no qualms with that. My favorite play today is Clemson. I feel like Jovan's favorite play is probably the Wilds with the goalie, stuff still hinging on that. But if he plays, it's probably the Wild for Jovan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Kings ML just feels right. Lighting that damn beam tonight. It really does.
It does. Really does.
We're in a good spot today. Guys, 4 plays, 4 winners. Clemson, Providence, the Wild, and the Sacramento Kings. All right? Sacramento Kings. Not the Kings on the ice.
Yeah. I don't think they lace them up today. So
okay. Good.
Should be good.
Good. Paul Millsap helped modernize the power forward position. Wow, he's retiring. W. Paul Millsap. He's a legend. Jack, get those votes in. Hurry up. Go, 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 go. We're already 2 minutes over for the Surge stream, but we do have Surge stream starting up right after this. W's.
Dude.
Well, shit. Providence and the Kings tides.
It's the Kings. Move on.
All right, it's the Kings from Gootsy. You're putting the foot down? Moneyline parlay? No.
Dude.
Remember, guys, no. No. Gucci, you want to make the call? Kings ML?
Call's made.
All right,
Call's
the call's
made.
made.
The Goots
Kings
call.
ML. That's what I needed to hear. All right, we're going with the Kings ML. We're not parlaying that puppy. And yeah, I cannot believe Clemson didn't win that vote, but that's okay. Guys, squad rides. We're going the Kings. Late night NBA. We're lighting that fucking beam. We'll meet you guys at the cash counter. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. We'll be.